Thank you for joining XR Om, which is India's first AR VR MR focused podcast. And today I'm delighted to have with me Professor Sameer Mukherjee, who's the head at the Department of Emerging Technology and VR AR MR at Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology. So thank you for being part of the podcast. And let's start with a little bit of introduction, because for the listeners who don't know about you, can you introduce yourself briefly?
Thank you, Eddie. We are passing through such a time where virtual is everything, the virtual meeting, virtual education, virtual everything. So luckily, last 6-7 years, we are in this VR domain, connected with so many companies, so many institutes throughout the globe, and doing very interesting things also. I'm just giving you some example. Engineering lab means that lab is one of the very, very complicated work, and that was not there. You can do your class through Zoom, but lab, how we do? We have VR lab, and that VR lab, student can come, can do their work and all this from home. I'm looking after WVRF, World VR Forum in Switzerland. And basically, this is under UNESCO, and it's giving the software part of it, software part of the VR, AR, MR, XR part of it. Basically, that's a controlling body of that. I'm looking after India for that. I'm looking after IVRF, International VR Foundation, that's in Beijing. That's the hardware companies, that all the hardware companies throughout the globe are the member for IVRF. Unfortunately, in our country, it's absolutely in infancy. Why I'm telling you in infancy? Emerging technology is certainly a time-tested formula throughout the globe. See, my idea is unless it's in the education, people will not understand what is VR AR. Initially, we need a kind of a certain part, a kind of education. Initially, after that, industry will jump in. But this education part, education institutional part, is missing in our country. Probably by coming 2 years down the line, industry will jump in. All the international industry will get here. All the material will get here in India. But unfortunately, the missing link is the education. AICT is having a kind of a faculty development program for VR AR for last couple of months, 6 months, kind of going on in so many places. But I'm just telling you, I am one of the faculty on that. The quality of the teacher, the quality of the education, quality of the other things is not up to that standard where we can develop something. So that is the reason we have to go very vigorously, very fast. We can help our institution. That Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology is the nodal body of 270 engineering colleges. I approach to so many colleges. I just cracked only 2 colleges, engineering colleges, to start this year emerging technology education. I do not know why people don't want. We need more people like me who can, flagship bearer of VR AR, like you in Mumbai. Similarly, we need everywhere. When we discuss with the government do not have any proposal, any propositions, anything. Emerging technology is the next internet. It is future. Absolutely, it is future. But I do not know when it will be. Probably we have to wait for another few more years. That's it.
Yeah, I really feel your passion, Samir. I mean, I believe we met somewhere in 2017 or 18 here in Bombay, and we met and we
Exactly.
spoke. In fact, you were at the studio, and I saw your passion. You've been fronting this, and like you said, you're almost like a flag bearer of AR, VR, MR here in the country. You're representing India with so many different international organizations, right, from WVRF to IVRF, and so many other organizations. You're doing a great work, and there is a problem with the ecosystem here. I've been invested in this ARVR since 2015, and I know the potential of it. Once it actually matures, it can touch, like you rightfully said, almost all business sectors. Right from education to healthcare to training to retail to entertainment, games, and so on and so forth. It can completely transform businesses. Not just add economical benefit to these businesses, but communicate better. You said this could be the next internet. Yes, we are sitting on what could be the next internet. The spatial computing, where we'll break away from the 2D medium and get into the 3D world. So for the education industries, I mean, people realize that COVID was a catalyst of a sort, because everybody was comfortable the way they were working. Education was fine. Suddenly, for more than a year and a half now, we all sitting at home, right from businesses to education institutes, and virtual reality as a tool, virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality is a tool is so capable of taking remote education, remote healthcare, remote training to the masses. Now, only if the government creates a body and gets the right kind of people with the right kind of funding, I think we'll be able to see that mass adoption that you're talking about. What do you think can be done or should be done to create a vibrant ecosystem that AR, VR, MR touches everybody's life?
So very, very pertinent questions. Again, part of my previous answer. See, education is one of the most important part at this moment. I checked so many very interviews from IIT to NIT to normal private colleges, and I told you that we are from a nodal body. We understand exactly what is going on and all this. But unfortunately, that the placement part is very, very, what I should say, I should not have proper adjective for this. Why these people are not absorbing engineering student? Then there must be something wrong. Throughout the globe, these things is going on. Like I told you that 300 lab should be there. We have 6, 7 lab, important lab for every branch, like for mechanical engineering, for electrical engineering, this is just not the way. I told you that all universities should jump in, should have their independent emerging technology department. Can you believe throughout India how many 6,000 different colleges and universities? Okay, out of that 1%, even 1% do not have these facilities. Can you believe this? I'm telling you, the haptic what we use now, it will not be there. Maybe within 2 years down the line. The HMD, what we are using at this moment, it will not be there. Your spec will be HMD. Your hand will be haptic. Okay, it will be very easy for you to work. But when we do not know, until unless our country, our government, our educational systems will be in this, or will understand that, yes, this is the future, we don't want to do anything here. That is the philosophy of our government. We will procure everything from the outside. Okay? And my students will be the service bearer, service provider, not the inventor. No IP. There will be no good invention, no this kind of product development and all this. that is probably the intention for everyone, intention for the institution, intention for the government, but it is not a country of 1.34 billion. It is not the process. I'm just telling you, it is not the process.
Right.
Process is that we should be like China. But what we are doing, we are just making engineers. As soon as they're ready, the big people, that IBM, Cognizant, Wipro, and all this, Intel and all this, the cream part of the students are taken from the universities or the colleges. They are abroad. Okay. When they got the award and all this, we are claiming that this award goes to India, but it is not the real fund. That's not Indian. Absolutely, that's not Indian. When we understand this philosophy, that we are happy with that Indian awards and all this, that our students, Sundar Pichai, what do we have here?
Yeah, you've opened up so many important things. The problem, like you mentioned, is with the system itself. We are so comfortable being passive. We all complain that how come India does not have a single global tech company? But we do not look inward and say that the problem lies within. The problem lies with the system. The education system plus the government is working on creating like people who can be service providers, who can go work, but they are not building problem-solving entrepreneurs. But there are so many at this point in time who understand that there is so much potential. India is a great country. We have the demographic dividend. And if we leverage that resource, we can build products, we can create innovations, we can create patents that which can, which will truly make India a global country. And you mentioned something very nice. You said that once these students move out, get into startups, they forget to, keep on constantly learning. You rightfully mentioned that you need to be a lifelong learners because the technological growth is so exponential that what today is current, in another 2 years, it's outdated, completely outdated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we need to have that mindset that we have to be lifelong learners and keep on innovating. And there is a general notion, at least here in India, where we want to bring down countries such as China, but I think we should emulate them. They are doing a great job. Even if we follow a little bit of the work ethos, the kind of dedication, hard work in building what they're doing, because I mean, just maybe 15 years back, China was known as a copycat country. Everybody used to talk about, oh, China, copycat. Now I dare anyone who says something like that. China is a global superpower. It is leading with example. It is challenging US. It's building the best artificial intelligence, quantum computing, VR, AR, MR. They are really fronting the global tech conversation. Why isn't India doing that? Can't we do that? Can't you spoke to me about so many wrongs, but I really hope, I wish and pray that the listeners, the students who have the passion, break out and throw away the blinders and understand that there is so much opportunity. Even you mentioned that you worked so hard to speak to all the tech universities in India, and out of that only two actually, what is wrong with the ecosystem? Why aren't they saying that the world has changed? Technology is going to be the backbone of a great country. If we adapt technology, we can create, innovate, and build solutions which will make that country a superpower. So I don't really know where the problem is. Let's just talk about a little bit about Makout and your effort at Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology, because you are the professor over there for the emerging technology department. What are you doing to push on that vision. You do share about the problems with COVID. One plus year the students have been sitting at home. What are the effort that Macaut is taking to create a conversation of being lifelong learners, innovate, and be that university that leads by example for India?
One of the very interesting part that I am in Macaut, I got a very, very beautiful PC with me. Okay. He is a kind of a most dynamic man till date I've checked in India. Okay. Whatever I said, whatever we told, he said, okay, do it without any question asked. We have one of the biggest VR lab. We spent crores on that. He never asked that why. That's give me that kind of strength. Now this NEP probably will do something, but unfortunately I checked. I know some people are involved in NEP design and all this. I told them that no emerging technology. Unfortunately, again, after 5-10 years, you will change it. But, no that kind of technology. So some people have to take care of this. Now the situation is so crooked, so problematic that we have to take. Probably in 2017, I was in a big conference in China, in Nanjing city. Nanjing city is considered the VR city. In the discussion time, it's a huge hall and full of people. At least 5,000 people are inside in this hall. And this is not true that they are the people who do not know VR. Only VR people, means emerging technology people are there in the morning, 9 o'clock, and that conference is going on. On that conference, we discussed so many things about how to go about it and all this. After that, in the lunch time, I'm just discussing with some very senior guys, okay, from the ministry. And I asked that, can you tell me the truth? How you build this? So many VR companies. At least, Eddie, you can't believe it, 1,000 company in Nanjing. Can you believe that in Delhi, 1,000 VR company? And so some other companies also. Okay. What is the, means the absolutely initial part of it? He said a very, very important word. I didn't discuss this with anybody. You were the first person who poked me to talk this way. Okay. He said, look, our education system is different. Okay. We teach students that, look, study hard. Then you can make a startup. You can make your own business. If you don't study, you have to be an employee of a company. See the reverse attitude. What we say, that study hard, then you will get a job in Intel.
Right.
And if you don't, then you have to do a startup. Simultaneously, we degrade the startups. That is the main backbone of a country at this moment. Production. Okay. Like our film industry is 100 years old film industry. Okay. 100 years is too long a line, isn't it? It's matured. And we said that, look, we are very mature people in the film and all this. Yes, we are very mature. But time taken 100 years. Television industry, time taken 60 years. Yes, we understand good photography, good propagations, broadcastings and everything. Time 60 years. Computer 40 years. Okay. Why I'm telling you these things? This now you understand now that time is shorter. Every time we are doing a kind of disruption, okay, rather I should use that word disruption, time is shorter, gradually every time. After that, now the electronics, IT and all these things, how many years? 40, 30, 40 years? What is the age of IoT in our country? 10 years. What is the age of our country of VRAR? 5 years. But the major problem here is within another 5 years, it will change. It will again disrupt with some other technology and it will not be there. We do not have mechanical engineering. We do not have civil engineering. We do not have electrical engineering, isn't it? So it will be merged. It is not that we do not have. It will be merged with another technology. And afterwards, we will have a new world. You rightly said that we have so many people, and all are very intelligent, good and all this. This much of education, educated people throughout the globe, you will not get anywhere.
Right.
Educated people. But education of what kind? Education for other country.
Right.
The cream part of it they are absolutely
all being exported abroad.
Absolutely. How long?
Yeah, so there is something
probably
wrong with the ecosystem, and that needs to be corrected, Samir. And I hope that people like you who bring this in a public forum boldly. I mean, we need more people like you who exercise their thoughts in a way which creates transformation, because there is a problem. And why do we have these blinkers? Why are we not seeing that all that we're doing is creating great engineering students, but we just are exporting them abroad? Why aren't we creating, the great tech companies? Is India not capable of creating great companies? Is Indian students not intelligent? Are Indian students not capable of creating great startups? That's not at all true. We've got some great startups, great individuals doing some great stuff. The problem is the ecosystem. Now, if we realize that there are so many problems in India which can be solved through technology, and you could create billion-dollar businesses. So there is an opportunity. The support system is not there. If the support system comes in and the mindset changes, I think we will really get into the future of abundance. You also, during the earlier question, you mentioned that placement is a big problem. I do not understand why that should be the problem, because in US and Europe, AR, VR, MR is the place where they're seeing the highest job rates over there. So why?
I just want to tell you these things. Do you know that in US, some of my friends said that, what are you talking? AR, VR, MR is the most lucrative at this moment.
Right.
And you said that you do not. I said, I'm really sorry, but it is fact.
Coming from somebody like you, it is a little. I don't really know what's going on, because we do follow trends, and if globally that's the case, obviously it's going to trickle down. There's going to be requirements over here also, but I hope that the government and the education industry, rather than having a wait and watch ecosystem, be bold, such as Makout, who is taking that effort to be in line with the time, play with the time, rather than being left out, because technology is growing exponentially. The only way we as a country can grow and take our students and give them rightfully the opportunity is when we create an ecosystem. So I hope that really happens. And I don't want to sound like overtly pessimistic, but yeah, I hope something really transformational happens, and then we create an ecosystem where all our students can leverage it, and we have a thriving ecosystem. And I guess I'm playing a small role in trying to build that ecosystem with Immersion VR Festival conference, which I held, built, and I'm working on something for 2022 also, so I'll talk about that to my audience also later. So you are the founder of VR AR Academia. Would you like to talk a little bit about that, and what are the offerings, provisions, what are the course curriculum, what are you offering, what are the things that you do over there?
VR AR Academia is my passion at this moment. Okay, what I did, I just you can't believe these things. I do not know that it is also very good thing to discuss here. I just premature my LIC. I just broke one. Okay, prematurely. Yeah, I just and take that money and invest in the first startup. Okay, took 10 students from McCourt. These students, if you ask that I will give you triple the salary, they will not go. VR AR Academy is giving the education. That's not the important part. After the education, VR AR Academia taking that students in the project, different kind of project. VR AR Academia will do that. Our one of the biggest festival is the Durga Puja. One of the very eminent paper is the Telegraph. Telegraph is the sponsored. And we will do that Durga Puja. Last year also we did, because of this year also that COVID problem will be there. So that they are doing the virtual Durga Puja. You can sit in their home and can watch Durga, all the pandals and all this. And from there, you can generate money also, you can add your product and all this. Okay. That is one of the we got probably several crore visitors last year. We have connect different server throughout the globe, because of that all Indian people like your Ganesh Chaturthi. People seriously want to watch at least once, maybe for 5 minutes. So the huge footfall, the huge eyeball, and that was the interesting part of it. The second interesting things is that educational VLab. I told them that make lab like that way, that students should feel that they are in the actual lab. So what they did, that every times when you want to do the lab, you have to roam around little bit of your campus. So, that feelings that I'm in the campus, then you have to go to the lift and go to the 3rd floor or 4th floor or something. And you have to go to the lab and you have to start everything and can do the work. So I appreciate that is not from my mind. That's by some of the students. They say, why not we put a little bit of walkthrough of this, so student will get a kind of a feelings that he is inside these things. See, Eddie, another very interesting thing is we are very, very innovative people. Indians are very, very educated people. Okay. We need a little bit mentoring. Shortage is basically mentors. Now, this kind of people we need, that you are not only a professor, but also a mentor. Your job is not only to complete the syllabus, but also make the guy ready for the market. And he can start something, give that confidence. That is one of the important part.
Right.
Which is absolutely missing in this. That's sad. That's right. Really sad.
Right. I hope that there are more mentors who comes and understand that is the problem and start fixing the problem. Now, for those students, enthusiasts, or people who don't know about AR, VR who are listening in, what would you tell them? How would you tell them that this is the place which has got the most opportunities? And what do you think they should do if they want to get into AR, VR, MR? If they take this opportunity, how will it'll change their life?
This is one of the most important and most futuristic subject for the it is already proven in the globe that it is futuristic. So you can try, be it making a film, be it education, be it medical, be it healthcare, be it travel and tourism, be it engineering, be it whatever. It will be there will be a kind of an applications everywhere. Okay, so this is one part. And second part, that whatever subject you have, suppose you are studying history, okay, so travel and tourism people need you to give the historical achievement of that particular place to make it in VR. Okay, so all the subjects, if it is biology, healthcare people will need you. Okay, let them give a kind of a virtual walkthrough of our country. Why not you do this? Let's do it. And now it's global. It is not like that Puja is in East and the Ganesh Chaturthi is for Maharashtra. Not like that. So do it and use that opportunity. Wherever you get any opportunity, use it. Use it properly. Use it correctly. Then you will get the result.
Right. So my last question to you, Sameer, imagine we are living in 2031, okay, 10 years from now. Paint a picture of what would India look like if we start adapting AR, VR, MR. What would be the changes? What would be the benefit? And also paint a picture, what would India look like if we don't take up AR, VR and the new technology?
Eddie, it's a painful part of my heart. You just asked such a question. I'm just giving you an example, which you may not like. I got a kind of a dream when COVID comes in India. Okay, dream is that the healthcare industry of our country will be big now. In the rural area, if you have a good place, start a small recovery hospital kind of. Make a kind of an ancillary arrangement from the main city hospital. So if you can't send them with your, there is corruption everywhere now. In healthcare, before 19 and today, we are going down and down and down and down. We do not have vaccine. Every day in the newspaper, they said that we are giving this much of vaccine. We do not have so many problems. I should not criticize. It is not the VR part, but I'm telling you that is the important part. On the contrary, 30s, that's a very interesting question. 30s, if everything going in a right way, okay, it will be a kind of a different country in the world. You will see that throughout the globe, we do not have that idea that what is heaven. Probably till 2030, I will also not be there. But you and your student can remember that 2030 will be a kind of a heaven if we go in a right direction. And right direction only to the students, to the industries, to every people, taken by only the visionaries. Visionaries means the visionaries, industrialists, visionary politicians, and visionary educationists. These three people, if they combine and can give a path, our country will be in 2030, will be at the top, of course. We are here, that's a new technology, will do something, but that's very negligible. The entire, the entire populations will be benefited with the entire system. We do not have proper road. We do not have proper ecosystems for food and food processing technology. We do not have absolutely good healthcare systems. Healthcare systems means if anything goes wrong in your heart, you will be dead. Because of they are charging you so exorbitant,
Right.
you can't believe. Just recently, 2 days back, I'm just studying a report that the medicine cost you maybe 10 rupees. They are selling it 210 rupees.
Wow.
It is in the newspaper
Wow.
also.
Wow.
So how you survive? Everything is, means we just can't believe all this. How it is possible that in US petrol is so cheap? It is not VRAR or emerging technology required. It's required policy. And why it is so costly here? If petrol is not right, if the road is not right, if all these things is not right, how you travel, how you go to your institute, how I ask my student to join in a Zoom meeting if the bandwidth is not there.
Right.
Where is that infrastructure? Why
Structure.
not? Why not? Only some people, maybe 10% of the entire population, they are staying in the city.
Right.
90% of our population are in the rural area, in the village. What they are getting? Now it is it is not actually our autumn. It is our flood season. Now already there is so many flood, and I am telling you, Eddie, you can't stop your tears. The situation is so bad.
Right.
Why we can't stop it? And independence तो long back हो गया तो और कितना दिन?
Right. Yeah, you opened up so many pertinent questions, and it's not that you are being negative, but you are showing that there are genuine problems, and why are we not addressing it? Why are we hiding those wrongs? Or infrastructure is terrible. COVID was an opportunity for the hospitals and doctors to just make money. Where was the government? I know this conversation is not political, but we are living in India. We are paying huge amount of taxes. And you rightfully pointed out, there's a huge population in the rural area. It's just that little minor population which has the privilege of the bandwidth, has the privilege of infrastructure, has the privilege of a great hospital and a great doctor. But shouldn't that be basic? I mean, healthcare and education, I think, is the most basic thing. I know we're digressing from AR, VR, MR, but I guess if we look at a country with a lens of saying, okay, these are the wrongs, and the only way, if we want to be a global superpower, we have to correct those wrongs. We cannot walk with a crutch. How long are we going to be walking with the crutch and thinking and telling the world that, oh, we are Hulk or we are Superman? We have to say that we are vulnerable. There is a problem with a country. There are so many problems, and if we start correcting it, we creating a system change, we will be a global superpower. Education, healthcare, and all of these, they need to be looked at a lens with leveraging exponential technology, because we have the tools. All that is lacking is the desire and intent. If we create that marriage, you mentioned education, policy makers, change makers, if they all come together, there is no stopping India. We are, we are on the right path. In 2031, if we take the right choices right now, we definitely will be a superpower. And Samir, it was a pleasure talking to you. There are so many bag of cans which you opened up besides this technology.
But I am not negative. I am not at all negative. I seriously want to see my India should be absolutely in the global position. And I face so many places, so many things. That why can't you do the road? Can you believe people are asking us, what is the problem? Why can't you make a proper road?
Yeah, it's such a basic. It's a basic thing, you know. And I hope our listeners introspect on this, and not just take just a stand that, oh, we why are we just pointing out to the wrongs. But I think unless until we don't point out to the wrongs, it will always be wrongs. It will always be hidden in a bag of corruption and lies, which we will conveniently not look at. On that note, thank you, Sameer. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope we can have a conversation again. And please keep on doing what you're doing, because we need more people like you to be the flag bearer, to be the torch bearer of this ecosystem. Because AR VR, I think in the next this decade itself, is going to create huge transformation. And yes, you said you might not be there. We need you. So we need you, and be there, be healthy. We wish you good health, and please support the ecosystem. And only with the effort of everyone coming in the ecosystem, we will be creating a sustainable and vibrant ecosystem. So thank you for being part of the conversation. To my listeners, if you like what you see in here, please press the subscribe button. And until next time, see you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.